Good morning, everybody. MG here. MG Covers, bringing you a brand new sports handicapping video. Title of this video is a current client testimonial, an excellent example of proper unit management. You're going to love this. We're going to dive into a current client's actual daily wagers for one specific day. Before we do that, as always, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, a ton of content on sports handicapping. So if you're watching this video, you want to learn this business, get a lot of value, simply subscribe to the channel. If you follow me on social media, you see the spelling there, MG Covers. It's spelled with a Z. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Give out a ton of content on there, especially on my storyline on Instagram, things I might not normally make a video for. You will see me put out a ton of content there, and also have the morning coffee. All right, we're ready to go. So let's dive into this client's. We're going to look at one specific day. Before we do that, I want to make a disclosure here and give you an outside example. Let's say you knew nothing about plumbing, but you were interested in learning about plumbing. So you went and worked for a plumber for 1 month. Would you learn a lot about plumbing that you didn't know? Yes, obviously you would. Would you learn enough to go out on your own as a plumber? Probably not. Well, guess what? The sports handicapping business is no different. I offer a yearly programs, $4.99. You get access to everything on the site, coaching videos, all my plays, etc. You save about $600, ends up being about $41 a month. This client that I'm going to show you did that 14 months ago, I think. I think that's how long he's been with me. So he was a yearly client. And still a client to this day. So what you're going to see, this is the culmination of him watching, looking at all my wagers, watching all of the coaching videos, and basically absorbing all the content that I put out for 14 months straight. So very, very, very cerebral client, but yet taking the information that I'm teaching and applying it to his own handicapping. All right, so we're going to dive into this. What I want to pull up, what you're looking at, this is a screenshot that he sent me on Telegram. I'm going to read through this, and then we're going to dissect it. All right, so it says plus 25 live line on the Arizona Montreal. This is on March the 15th, so this is what, last week. That seems worth 0.1 units to win a half. We'll see. All right, so basically what he means is, and I'm going to break all this down. So he played Montreal on the live line at plus 525. And what he means by that is that he's only wagering 0.1 unit. So if you're a $100 player, that means he's only wagering $10 to win a half unit. And what I mean by half, he's going to win plus 525 there if it wins. But he's only risking 0.1 units. So he wagered $10. I don't know if that's what he wagered. I'm assuming, just guessing. So he wagered $10 to win 525 or $52. All right. And I asked him, what'd you play? And he said, tonight I'm on Toronto minus 1.5 plus 170. And I just took Montreal live plus 525. I'm watching these gas teams. Seems the last 10 minutes or so, they fall apart. And that's a concept that I teach as well related to hockey and NBA. If you watch, I'm not going to get into it on this video, how to structure the wager. And you see me comment there, good wager. And then finally comments, I agree. And part of why I enjoy your teaching, thumbs up. Got 170 on Toronto. All right, this is important too. Hit Barnsley in soccer and was on that Suns game. So he played Barnsley. It was a soccer match. We'll talk about that. I'm going to show you another screenshot adding all this up. So hugely profitable day. This is important, presented with a plus 500. It's worth giving a little back for a half unit. In other words, what he means by that is, so he had already had, prior to this wager, a profitable day set up. So to only risk 0.1 unit made sense considering what he was going to get back in return. And even if he lost that wager, it would still be worth it. They ended up hitting the post with 6 minutes left. So we were right there. He's talking about the Arizona Montreal game, but reframed. I teach this, reframing everything into a positive. I lose more than I win. This is important, and still turn a great profit. So stay the course. Again, what I teach, you see a client doing that, meaning doesn't necessarily have a winning record overall long term, but is profitable long term. And the myth, sort of something we hear over and over in sports betting, you got to hit 53% of your winners in order to break even, and generally probably 55% to turn a profit. That's assuming you're playing juice, which I don't necessarily teach that. Advocate of playing money line dogs because they do cash, and if you do that, it lowers your win percentage, makes it a lot easier to be profitable in this business long term. All right, so that's a screenshot. So what I want to do now is pull up. We'll just sort of break this down so you can see it. All right, because this is very important. So prior to the Montreal game, the 525 wager, he had already won Barnsley in soccer. So he wagered a third unit on that one, hit that one at plus 135. So he was up he won 0.45 units in that match. Okay, and you just take 135 divided by 3 is how that works. And then Toronto was winning at the time he placed this wager, so he was assuming he was going to hit this one as well. So 1/3 divided by 170, so 0.56. So at the time he placed this wager, he knew he was already going to be profiting about 1.01 units at the time of that wager. So this is another important concept to look at. So he has a winning day wrapped up right here. So one of the reasons why he wagered less on that live bet was he wanted to make sure that he cleared. He'd already won a unit, so he wants to preserve that. And I've talked about this before in the way that I teach. So once you have a winning day wrapped up, you're certainly not going to turn around and risk everything that you've earned, right? You wouldn't risk 1 unit on the next play, right? And in this case, he risked even less. So let's take a look at, whoops, sorry about that. Got my hand in the way. Okay, so now, so the reason he risked only 0.1 units, and let's kind of dissect this. So if he wins the 0.1, he's going to get back 0.52 units. So very little risk, huge reward, okay? So if he loses that wager, that Montreal live wager, you take the units that he had already was going to win, 1.01 units, minus the 0.10 units, it would still be a profitable day, and he would still end up with 0.91 units. Now, if that live wager was to cash, look what happens. So 1.01 units is what he earned already, and if he hits that live, that would be plus 0.52 units, and he would end up with a huge day at 1.52 units, which would have been huge. Now, this is very important. So a couple things to talk about that live wager. Number one, what are the odds of a plus 525 money line dog cashing in anything? Very slim. So the wager size, the unit size structure reflects that amount of risk, right? So that's important to note in that particular case. And then also too, with the loss, factoring that in, because so many people, and I teach this, is that we're always thinking about winning. You have to think about losing. It's just like running a business. When you invest money into something, you have to think about what happens if this investment works. What happens if this investment loses? What do I lose when I invest X amount of dollars? You have to consider that. And that's what he did in this scenario. So the way he approached it was perfect. Huge upside, right? Huge reward, yet very little risk, okay? Now, if you look down below that, the final figure there, this is what actually happened. If you saw in there where he said he was on the Suns game, he had wagered on the Phoenix Suns as well. So he ended up losing the live wager, but the Suns ended up winning. So with the live bet that he lost, so he was down to 0.91 units. He hits the third unit with the Phoenix, so he ends up with 1.24 units on the day. Extremely profitable day. Now, this is important. The way I teach, so he applied, first off, with the Toronto wager, he used the play against concept. I have a coaching video on that for NHL. He played the Phoenix Suns. If you've seen some of my videos, you might have heard me talk about this. It's the double-digit concept, where a team is a double-digit favorite via my lines for NBA. If you have value at the sports book, that was considered a play. And then finally, he used the fatigue concept that we've talked about. And also really excellent unit management structure in this. And then, of course, he comes out profitable in the day at 1.24 units. Whoops. So we get the screen. So again, just to sort of recap, anything you do in life, there's a I'll share a personal story. I've been trying to study Spanish and learn a foreign language here for maybe 3 years now. I'll start, I'll stop. I haven't fully committed to it and practicing and studying every single day. If I did, I would learn. But I'll go like a couple months without studying. I'll get back into it. Can't be consistent with that. And sports betting is the same. So if you commit to it and stay in this business long term, especially as a client, that's why the yearly membership is such great value, $4.99 for an entire year. I think that's like what, $41 a month. There's a link to join in the description box. If you want access to just the coaching videos and all my power rankings, and maybe you can't afford the full that amount, $49.95 per month gives you access to that. If you want access to all my plays, as well as all the coaching videos, if you want to do it monthly, it's $99 a month. The link to join in the description box. Hopefully you enjoyed that video and provide you some value. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.